Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a topic that has, well, fascinated, bewildered, and even outraged people for centuries. We're talking about the mysterious world of animal magnetism.
Or what most people probably know as mesmerism.
Exactly. And our source material for this deep dive is, it's a really fascinating historical document, a book called Animal Magnetism, or Present Contortion, containing practical instructions and the latest discoveries in the science.
Quite a title.
It is. It's an American edition, James Mowood and Co., and it includes a supplement by the Reverend Chauncey Hare Townsend. And this isn't just some dry historical text.
No, definitely not.
It's more like a vibrant window into the past, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. A time when science, spirituality, public spectacle, it all just sort of intertwined.
In these incredible ways. So, our mission today: unpack these sources, pull out the key insights.
Yeah, uncover some surprising facts about this practice. It's often really misunderstood.
Right, you're basically going to get a shortcut here. Get well-informed on something that caused huge controversy.
And also offered, incredible hope for people who were suffering.
What's really striking about this book, I think, is just how it tries to make sense of things that, well, they just defied explanation back then.
Totally. And this deep dive, it's not just about what happened.
Right.
It's about why it mattered and maybe what it tells us about, that human quest to understand unseen forces.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our journey has to begin with the figure whose name basically became the practice.
Frederick Anthony Mesmer.
Mesmer, yeah.
Yeah.
Born in Switzerland, 1734. Studied medicine in Vienna. And after marrying into wealth, he really dove into what the book calls this love of the marvelous.
Well, initially his theory involved planetary influence acting through electricity.
Oh, interesting. Electricity first.
Yeah, but he later shifted to magnetism. Thought that was the key agent. But what's really crucial, I think, about Mesmer's own thinking is that he eventually decided the healing power, whatever it was, it seemed to reside in him, not just the magnetic rods or the tugs he famously used.
Right. Not just the props. And this is where things get really interesting. When he shows up in Paris in 1778, becomes an absolute sensation, performing, quote, many remarkable cures in the class of distinguished persons.
Big names, apparently.
Yeah, but the medical establishment, well, let's just say they were not impressed.
Not having it. They saw him as a threat, really, not a breakthrough.
So why such immediate, strong opposition? It seems quite forceful.
It does. Well, in 1784, the French government actually mandated the medical faculty of Paris to investigate.
Ah, the famous commission.
That's the one. And the book is pretty blunt about it. It says the bulk of the members had prejudged the question.
Wow.
Yeah. And like too many of the medical men of our own time were resolved that they would not be convinced.
Oof. That's quite the statement. Shows how a dominant paradigm can really blind people, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Even if the phenomena are right there in front of them, if there's no framework, it's dismissed.
Even Benjamin Franklin's name was on that report, apparently.
It was, though the book notes he was supposedly indisposed, didn't pay much attention. But one commissioner, Jussieu, a very eminent physician, he actually published his own report.
Oh, what did that say?
It presented an entirely different view, much more favorable.
Interesting. So the main attack then wasn't necessarily on the facts like, did things happen?
Not entirely. It was more aimed at Mesmer's theory about this subtle, invisible fluid.
Okay, so they didn't like the explanation.
Right. The commission's conclusion was basically, man can act upon man by striking his imagination.
So they just chalked it all up to imagination.
Pretty much a profound dismissal when you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are we maybe dismissing today just because we can't quite explain it yet?
That's the enduring question, I think. This pattern repeats.
So, okay, 1784 commission blames imagination, but later thinkers, they weren't all buying that.
No, definitely not. And what's compelling now is seeing how the understanding of this peculiar agency, as they called it, started to evolve.
Right. Beyond just that quick dismissal.
Exactly. Take Mr. Colquhoun, for example. He was a notable figure.
That was his idea.
He proposed a nervous fluid, something that could be directed outwards by your will.
Okay.
Especially from healthy, energetic people towards weaker, sicker ones.
So that implies something more direct, more physical than just imagination playing tricks.
A more direct interaction. And even Cuvier, the famous French scientist,
Yeah.
he admitted the truth of mesmerism. He said effects on people who were ignorant of it or unconscious or even animals that suggested a real effect independently of all participation of the fancy.
So not just in their heads.
Right. He thought maybe some kind of nervous communication was happening.
And even Laplace,
Yeah.
the mathematician,
Uh-huh.
he weighed in.
He did. Famous for astronomy, probability, very rigorous mind.
What did he say?
He observed that, quote, the nerves are the most sensible instruments for finding nature's hidden agents.
Oh.
And he argued it would be quite unphilosophical to deny the existence of the phenomena merely because they are inexplicable right now.
Wow. That's quite an admission from someone like Laplace.
It really is. Then you have Dr. Elliotson over in England, a prominent mesmerizer.
Okay, but what's his take?
He strongly believed the facts came from a specific power.
A real force.
Yes. Even though he acknowledged sometimes it could be faked or maybe exaggerated by emotion.
Right.
But he noted that this peculiar coma by mesmerism, happening without any mental suggestion, was a truth now admitted by a very large number of the best-informed, acutest, and least credulous men in England.
So acceptance was growing, at least among some circles.
It seems so, among a certain segment, yes.
Then we get Mr. Braid. He's the one who coined hypnotism, right?
That's him, meaning nervous sleep. His theory was totally different, shifted away from any kind of magnetic fluid.
So what was his explanation?
He thought fixed staring, intense attention that could sort of paralyze certain nerve centers, disrupt the body's equilibrium.
Okay, purely physiological or neurological then?
That was his angle, and he described some pretty dramatic results.
Like what?
Well, curing a boy with opisthados, that's a really severe body-arching spasm, just by inducing this sleep state in minutes.
Wow. Okay, so you've got all these different theories trying to explain what people are seeing.
Exactly. It underscores this ongoing quest, trying to make sense of observations even when the mechanism is totally elusive, fiercely debated.
And the book itself tries to classify the states.
It does. It talks about everything from like half sleep up to lucid vision or clairvoyance.
Clairvoyance, like seeing things clear.
Yeah, described as gaining clear knowledge of his own internal mental and bodily state, and maybe even predicting disease progression.
And a lot of this happened in a state they called somnambulism.
Right, somnambulism, like a deep, sleep-like trance. But the person could still interact, respond, do things. That was considered key for many of the more profound effects.
This skepticism, this resistance, it really does sound so similar to how other big scientific discoveries were treated throughout history.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost a classic pattern, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the book draws those parallels very clearly. Galileo's telescope.
Right. Nobody wanted to look through it at first.
Exactly. Hardy discovering blood circulation.
Met with huge resistance.
Ambrose Pare using ligatures for amputations instead of, burning cauterization.
Controversial.
The use of antimony, Peruvian bark. Even Lady Mary Wortley Montagu pushing for smallpox inoculation.
All met with ridicule, persecution, just outright rejection initially.
It perfectly illustrates this common, almost predictable resistance to ideas that really shake up the established way of thinking.
It's almost unbelievable how vehement the opposition could be. Like the Council of University College London. They actually passed a resolution in 1838 to prevent mesmerism in their hospital.
They did, largely because of Dr. Elliotson's work there.
Wow. Just shut it down.
Yeah, the book really captures that institutional resistance. It quotes Mr. Colquhoun again.
What did he say this time?
He said some people in learned institutions see new knowledge almost like an invasion or a robbery of their vested rights, like threatening their established authority or knowledge base.
That's quite a perspective. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is that kind of supercilious ignorance, as the book calls it, the real enemy of progress sometimes?
It's a fair question. The source argues pretty passionately. Mesmerism has scarcely been worse treated than other sciences.
Yeah.
And having its foundation in truth will as certainly one day be taken under the protection of the medical profession. Quite optimistic, really.
So, okay, beyond all the theories and the fights with the establishment, what did these mesmerists actually do or claim to do? The book's full of these incredible cases.
Right. The core claim was tangible benefits, often quite dramatic ones.
Like pain relief.
That was a huge one. The famous surgeon M. Jules Cloquet, he reportedly amputated a woman's cancerous breast while she was in a mesmeric sleep, completely without pain.
Wow. And this is long before modern anesthetics.
Exactly. Imagine that. And the book details other cases like thigh amputations, lots of tooth extractions.
Didn't you mention a dentist?
Yes, a case from Mr. Gardner. Extracted a molar, apparently crushed the tooth, and the patient wakes up and asks, "Did I feel it?"
Incredible.
And Mr. Prideaux reported taking out 11 teeth and 11 stumps from one patient whose face was apparently placid and serene the whole time.
Yeah, it's hard to picture. So these physical demonstrations were powerful challenges to medicine at the time.
Absolutely, challenging the understanding of sensation itself.
Right.
But it wasn't just pain relief.
There were cures, too.
Remarkable accounts of cures. There's a law student, Paul Villagrand.
Okay. What was his story?
Long-standing paralysis. Through mesmerism, he supposedly recovered the ability to walk, gain strength.
Really?
And get this. He apparently self-prescribed treatments while in the somnambulistic state.
He told them what to do while asleep.
That's the claim. And apparently could even read with his eyes closed just by having fingers held on his eyelids.
Okay, now we're definitely getting into the stranger territory.
Mm-hmm. And it escalates from there to what they called the higher phenomena.
Things that really push the boundaries of belief.
Exactly, like clairvoyance, sight without using the eyes.
Okay, give me an example.
The book talks about Calixte, a Parisian somnambulist.
What did he do?
Played card games, piquet, a cart with astonishing precision,
Well,
while his eyes were perfectly closed, cotton stuffed in the sockets, and a bandage wrapped tightly around his head.
you're kidding.
That's the account. Naming cards, knowing what his opponent held, even reading a card stuck on a wall in the next room.
Okay, that sounds almost supernatural.
It certainly borders on it. And then there's the really wild stuff. Prevision.
Predicting the future.
Yeah. One somnambulist, a Mademoiselle W., supposedly predicted the King of Württemberg's death 4 years in advance.
Specifying.
The year, the month, even the exact day.
That seems, that's incredibly specific and hard to verify, surely.
Of course. And there's another case of a daughter in somnambulism knowing instantly that her father had fallen down in the cellar, even though she was in a different room, far away.
So immediate knowledge of distant events.
Right. Now, the book does acknowledge skepticism about these claims, especially clairvoyance and prevision.
Even from supporters.
Yes, even Dr. Elliotson himself noted a disposition to deceive in some patients.
Okay. So maybe some are faking it.
He thought so, sometimes, though others argued that only happened in, lighter states, maybe reverie, not true deep somnambulism. But the fundamental belief among the proponents was these core phenomena, however you explain them, they were happening.
So, stepping back, what does this all mean? If these accounts, even allowing for exaggeration or misinterpretation, if they reflect something real about human abilities,
Yeah.
it certainly challenges our everyday understanding of reality, doesn't it?
Massively. And for the proponents back then, this was powerful ammunition against materialism.
The idea that only matter exists.
Exactly. They argued these phenomena suggested an immaterial principle. The soul, the mind, could temporarily be loosed from the bodily organization.
So perception wasn't always tied to the physical senses, the physical organs.
That was the argument. Philosophers like Schelling saw it as proof that higher powers reside in man.
And the book even connects it to poetry. Wordsworth.
It does, describing the mesmeric state, somnambulism, as that serene and blessed mood from Wordsworth's poem.
Where we are laid asleep in body and become a living soul.
Seeing into the life of things. Yeah, it's a really beautiful, almost mystical description of an altered state.
So it just opens up these huge questions, right?
Yeah.
If consciousness can function independently of the senses, what are the real limits?
That's the philosophical core. The Reverend Townsend, whose supplement is in the book, he believed mesmerism demonstrated the predominance of spirit over matter, and even hinted at a germ of immortality. Plus, it offered a way to explain things previously blamed on magic or witchcraft.
As natural phenomena.
Natural, yes, though still extraordinary and not fully understood.
But the text ends with a pretty strong warning, doesn't it?
Oh, very strong. It cautions heavily against using mesmerism just for mere curiosity or in sport.
Right, don't play around with it.
Exactly. It calls directing this mysterious power a very bold task.
And says it should only be done with.
Judgment, prudence, and discretion, and only for benevolent purposes.
For helping people.
Yes. And ideally, it argues, it should be solely in the hands of professional physicians.
Okay. So ultimately, they're pleading for open-minded, serious investigation.
That's the final message. Urging the medical community Acknowledge these important but neglected truths. Use them for humanity's benefit.
Instead of just dismissing them out of, what was the phrase?
Supercilious skepticism. Arrogant disbelief.
Right. So from pain-free surgery to, well, apparent glimpses of the future, the claims around animal magnetism are just astounding.
They really are. And while the language, the theories from back then might seem quaint or outdated to us, the observations about human potential and that profound resistance they encountered, those are echoes we absolutely still hear today.
Definitely. This deep dive into mesmerism, it's not just, a historical footnote.
Not at all. It forces us to think about things like the placebo effect, the power of belief, suggestion, and the historical limits of our own scientific tools and understanding. It's like a mirror, reflecting how we still grapple with anything that blurs those lines.
The lines between mind and body. Or the measurable and the seemingly magical.
Exactly. These debates continue, in modern neuroscience, psychology, consciousness studies, even areas like quantum physics, some might argue.
So the final thought, maybe. If these historical accounts, however anecdotal or maybe even flawed, if they truly reflect some untapped human capabilities, what profound implications might they still have for how we understand consciousness, healing, maybe even our place in the universe?
Big questions.
Truths we are definitely still debating and exploring today.
Something to ponder, perhaps, as you reflect on the deep dive we've taken.
Indeed. The journey to understand the human mind and its potential. Well, it's far from over.
Definitely not.
Join us next time for another journey into the depths of knowledge, right here on The Deep Dive.